Hi, today we're going to talk about question number 2 from the February 2013 New York State Testing Program Common Core Sample Questions for Grade 7. And the question reads, Naomi needs to buy new soccer uniforms, including a pair of socks, 2 jersey tops, and 2 pairs of jersey shorts. Naomi's coach sent home a chart presenting the prices of the different items. Naomi's mother says she will help her pay for it and will contribute $8 for every $2 Naomi contributes. How much money will Naomi need in order to buy the new uniforms? So we're going to begin by underlining the critical information. So she needs to buy a pair of socks, 2 tops, 2 shorts, and I'm going to put a 1, a 2, and a 2 next to my table. Don't be afraid to write right alongside on your test of tables or diagrams to label them. And for our intents and purposes right now, what we want to do when we read a problem, we want to use math sense, and we want to try and eliminate any unreasonable answers right off the bat. So what is the question asking? It says Naomi's mother will contribute $8. So I'm going to underline mother, contribute $8 for every $2 Naomi contributes. Okay, so that's a ratio or a rate of 8 to 2. And the question is, how much money will Naomi need in order to buy the new uniforms? Okay, well, Mom is going to be paying, if I reduce the rate in the problem 8 to 2, and I reduce this, 2 goes into 8 4 times, and 2 goes into 2 1 time. So my unit rate, or my rate for every $1 Naomi pays, Mom is going to be paying $4. That's called a unit rate, or a rate for one of something. So Mom is going to be paying 4 times what Naomi's going to pay. So Mom's going to be paying the bulk of it. So let's just go ahead and estimate how much this would all cost and see if we can rule out any of those answers over there. Maybe you have a hunch right now which ones are unreasonable. Socks are about $20 each, $17 a pair. Boy, that's a lot of money for a pair of socks, but it's a uniform, so I guess you have to do it. $20 for 1 pair of socks. The tops are about $70 each. We're just estimating now. That's always where you want to start, especially on a multiple choice test. And 2 70s, well, 2 7s is 14, so 2 70s is 140. And 2 pairs of shorts, they're about $40 each. So 2 40s, well, 2 4s is 8, so 2 40s would be 80. And then if I were to total that all up, 20 and 140 is 160, and 80 is 240. So altogether, the whole set of uniforms that they have to buy will be $240, and Mom's going to pay most of that because it's going to be a 4 to 1. Mom will pay 4 times what Naomi pays. So if the total is $240, Naomi's going to pay a small amount. She's not going to pay most of it. She's not going to pay $181.60. We already said Mom's going to be paying most of it. She may not even, this one probably, you might be thinking, is even high, because Naomi's not even going to pay half. So we're going to cross that one out too. Critical information, we just underlined it, the rate, 8 to 2. And then we reduce that down to get a unit rate. Now you don't have to necessarily. in my mind I was doing that to try and get a feel for who's paying what, or what the relationship is between what Mom pays and what Naomi pays, and I can see that it's a 4-to-1, or Mom's paying 4 times as much as Naomi's paying. And then here were the items that we need to buy. Now when I make a picture, here's my rate of 8-to-2. And what I did is I made what's called a tape diagram, and I just basically used little, I guess you could think of it as little pieces of tape, but they're congruent, or the same size boxes, and I have 8 of them for representing 8 times something that Mom's going to be paying, and then 2 of them for what Naomi's going to pay. You can think of them as X's. X is the unknown, 8 times some amount Mom's going to pay, and 2 times some amount Naomi's going to pay. Now if we wanted to reduce that down to our unit rate of 4-to-1, we could, and we could model it with 4 boxes for Mom and 1 box for Naomi. Okay, the unit rate is 4-to-1. When we take a look at these are going to be our terms in our algebraic equation. Now I'm going to start by just using our estimate of $240, and we're going to go through this process. This is just to estimate, and then we'll go ahead and do the process again with the actual figures in there. So if I were to use the 8-to-2 ratio, that's just fine. 8x represents Mom's portion, plus 2x represents Naomi's portion, and altogether we said it's about $240. So when we combine like terms, 10x equals 240. We divide both sides by 10. X is 24. That's not what Naomi pays. Remember, in this scenario, Naomi her amount is represented by the 2x, so we would have to double it, and 2 times 24, I'm saying, is about 50. Okay, if you wanted to say equals 48, that's just fine. I'm just saying it's about $50 roughly. I'm just estimating right now. Now, if you want to use your unit rate, if you want to go ahead and use your reduced ratio, you can do that same process, setting up your equation, only instead of 8x and 2x, you'd use, you got it, 4x and 1x, or just 4x and x. And that would give you 5x. And when we set it equal to 240, we end up dividing both sides by 5 to go backwards to figure out what x is. And again, we get x is about 50. I'm thinking in my head, if this was 250, 250 divided by 5 is 50, so it's about 50. Notice when I use the reduced rate, I don't need to substitute anything back in because Naomi's piece that she's going to pay is represented by x. It's already reduced. So my answer is what we expect Naomi to pay. So are you thinking you already know which multiple choice answer it is? We know it's close to $50. Let's go ahead and figure it out. So I'm assuming this question would probably be on the day 2 multiple choice. So because there are so many decimals involved, you would get to use your calculator, but you still want to write down exactly what you're going to do on your calculator. So notice over here, I'm writing down that I need to add up the actual cost. I'm no longer estimating. Now I'm going ahead and figuring it out again with the actual numbers to make sure I'm right. And I put 17 plus 2 times 6750 in my calculator, plus 2 times 3750, and I get 227. That's the total cost. So I'm going to do the same process, only I'm using the actual amount. I'm not estimating, so that I get the actual answer and make sure that that's the right multiple choice answer that we think is correct. And I go ahead and I do the process. Now remember, this is an OR, so it doesn't matter if you use the 8x and the 2x or if you use the 4x and the x. Depends on how you want to think about this. But if you use the 8x and the 2x, remember Naomi's part is the 2x. So you're going to have to take your x answer and then plug it back in and times it by 2. And we come up with 4540. And then on this side, if you were to do it with your 4x and the x instead, you'd get the same answer. So guess what? How did that work out? Pretty close to our estimate of $50? I think so. So our answer, $45.40, which is choice C, which is answer choice C. Nice job, everyone. I hope you'll join me next week. We'll go over question number 3. This is Ms. Netter. Have a great day.